Wave after wave of aerial bombardment reported of rebel bases in the east by Gaddafi forces and the promise of retaliation by the international community. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said, and I quote, "I am very pleased that the Gulf states and the Arab League have called for action if the UN agrees." On the ground in Libya's capital of Tripoli, though, there's no sign of support waning for Gaddafi. Ayman runs a cafe in the working-class neighborhood of Bouzlem. He says he thinks the US and UK are threatening war against Libya because they want its oil.
They are in our country. They are not feeling about Libyan people. Trust me. They are feeling about them. How will come to Libya? How to take Libya? This is the best, I think.
Nobody here is willing to talk about why Gaddafi's forces need to bomb his people in Ras Lanuf or Zavia, and within minutes of us reaching, pro-Gaddafi chants ring out.
Flash mobs of support for Colonel Gaddafi seem to come up at every street corner that the cameras go to. Much of it comes to fear from the state and from the minders who follow us everywhere. But a bit of it seems to come from a sense of being cornered. The idea that the world is now ganging up for a war on Libya.
Meanwhile, despite rumours that Gaddafi may yield to international pressure and leave the country with his family, the Libyan leader is certainly trying to drive home the point that he is in control of his country.
They recruited youngsters, juveniles under the age of 20 upon whom the law cannot even apply. They gave them pills, and in some cases they even gave them money. They also gave them weapons and machine guns.
Libyan state television showed pictures of him meeting with tribal leaders in Tripoli, and he even made an unexpected stop at the Journalists' Hotel to show he's here. A game of international imagery that is turning into a propaganda war from every side. In Tripoli with Vijay, Nishat Hayat and Suhasini Haidar, Anubhav Bhosle.